Hi, this is Andy Splichal, and today we have the pleasure of being joined by a legend in the internet online marketing industry, Don Cole from Your Store Wizards. How are you doing, Don?
I'm doing good, Andy. Thanks for having me on, and glad to be here.
Well, today we're gonna talk about a very hot issue, and the issue is replatforming and should a store do it. But before we start on that, why don't you give us, for those that don't know you, a quick background about yourself and Your Store Wizards?
Okay, no problem. I have been, as you can see by our little logo now, we actually are in our 21st year in business now, which is crazy, especially in internet years. I basically started back in 1999 as a retailer. I actually opened up a store. I was a computer geek, was supposed to be making money off the internet somehow, and had a little in. So started a little store, figured it would be a little side business. And over the years, grew that one, started some others, sold some off, closed some up. But basically, fairly short order after starting my first store, I started writing programs to automate things I did. I'm a geek. That's sort of like by nature. I'm lazy. That's what I say. I'm a geek because I'm lazy. And so therefore, every time I want to do something, I have to do it 2 or 3 times. I get bored and I'm like, I got to find a better way. And so that's what really started me in towards doing the Your Store Wizards business. Eventually it grew. And so we do obviously web development. We do feed services. We have a search service, things like this. But it just comes down to, I've come to connect with this community of e-commerce store owners over 20 years and dealing with thousands of stores. And it's just something I love, being able to help and make an impact on businesses. And it's not just the business, it's knowing the people behind it and being able to help them, which is really cool. So, and so obviously we do work now on Yahoo, which is where we started, but also a lot on Shopify and BigCommerce as well.
Well, great, great. And I know you're probably overwhelmed with people replatforming. Let me ask you, what makes you an expert on replatforming? What do you guys do with it?
Well, what it comes down to is we've got a lot of experience both in the actual retail side, but then also in the development side, which gives us a lot of background. But what really comes down to me personally is I am a data geek. And so when we do the replatforming, there are many tools and many things involved in the process. It's not a simple process. But what's important is getting the details right. This is not something to be taken lightly. And so being a data geek, I like to make sure everything transfers over as good as possible. You handle all the things like the redirects, you handle all the stuff you need to handle. And there's just a lot of details. And there are services out there that are quick, cheap. Oh, I'll just dump your data in, things like this. And if you are not doing much business, that's fine. But if it's something that is your lifeblood, you want someone that is going to think about those details, walk you through the process, help you learn the new platform. We've got experience on, all these major platforms, and you want someone that knows the ins and outs to help you as you not only learn the new platform, but what can you do, what can you not do, why do I want to go there, that type of stuff. So it's really experience that makes the difference.
Great, great. So tell me, what's a true but crazy fact about you that people might not know?
I don't know if I have any like major crazy fact. I mean, obviously the first thing that comes out for those that know me personally, I have triplet boys, and that by nature makes everyone go like, what? You have what?
Wow.
Yeah. They ask, how old are your kids? And I'll be like, I have 3 boys, they're 9. They're like, and? I'm like, no, they're 9. I have another boy as well. He's older, but he's not as fun to talk about. But I guess personally, I am a geek, which means by nature I tend to be introverted, but I have learned that I am a gregarious introvert. As you can see already here, when I know a topic, I can talk a fair amount on it. I may not be good at the icebreaker, but get me rolling and I will roll along. I've also done a lot of things that some people would not picture me doing. I love to dance. I've gone skydiving, scuba diving, zip lining. I'm not into extreme sports, but I certainly enjoy things that, are a lot of fun. And, my wife thinks I'm a little crazy for doing some of them, but.
Wow. Well, that's about 6 things more than I've ever done.
I have not actually done the bungee jumping. And at this point, I will not do that because with my kids, I cannot take that risk, even though it's a small chance. But trust me, once they're older, I would love to go skydiving again. So
Wow, wow. Well, tell me on replatforming, what do you see where a company should consider doing a replatform?
I think for me, when you're thinking about a replatform, probably the most important thing is a lot of people will make the choice to replatform. First thing that usually triggers it is something they don't have in their current platform or something that they believe the other platforms have. To me, the most important thing they do is really plan it out, really look at it. Look at your existing store. What do you have? What do you need that you don't have? But also, what are things you have that are critical for you? Because I've learned over 20 plus years in this business, there is no perfect platform. Don't get me wrong, there are some really great platforms out there. But there is no perfect platform that is going to do 100% of everything exactly as you need it or you think you need it. So it's really important to analyze, why am I moving? What do I need? And then look at the platform and figure out and make sure you're going to the right platform. I've seen stores that pick a platform and I'll ask them, why are you moving to XYZ? Why are you moving to Shopify? Why are you moving to BigCommerce? And they'll be like, well, someone told me it was cool. It's like, yeah. Would you move your house because someone told you that some neighborhood was nice? You would go check it out. You would make sure it would, got good schools for your kids and things like this. So it's important to plan that out.
Now, has there ever been a time where somebody's come to you and wanted to do a replatform and you just told them, no, it doesn't make sense?
Honestly, yeah, it has happened. Usually it's very specific cases. I mean, most stores can fit on a lot of these major platforms. But it comes down to, once again, looking at your data, looking at your features. We've had some to move to Shopify or BigCommerce, and the amount of customization they had was so extreme that it's like, it's not something you can just transfer over. You either have to completely rethink your store or stay where you're at. There are times that it's like, it's not enough reason. And there are many good reasons to do it, but once again, every replatform, unless you're talking a tiny store with 5 products and I do 3 sales a month, is a big project. And so I want to make sure that people are smart about it and know that you're biting off a big thing. So let's make sure there's a real reason to shift. That's the first thing I will ask them when I'm doing a consult on the phone is, why do you want to move? And make sure they really thought that through.
Okay, well, I mean, you probably covered it, but what would be something you could impart, like one piece of advice for somebody thinking about the replatforming?
Yeah, I think the first step, I mean, I sort of glanced over it, is definitely make a list. Make a list of what are the features you have currently, what are the features you need, and categorize these as which ones are required and which one would be nice to have. Then take that list and go look at the major platforms you're deciding on and really try to vet out the platform and make sure it's going to get you as many as possible of those needs before you decide to make that decision. I think make an informed decision on the platform. And then once you do, find a good partner you're going to work with that's going to help you transfer the data, and that's going to help you with the store design. Now, it may be a custom build. It may be taking a theme and just modifying it. That's fine. Either way is fine. Modifying a theme is usually a faster way to go. But the other big thing to do is make sure you are going to have someone in-house whose job it is to make sure this goes off. You don't want this to be something that, I'm going to do a little bit on the side when I have time. You need to devote time and resources to it to make it go well and to happen in some kind of reasonable time frame. Otherwise, the thing can drag on and cost a lot more than you want it to because you didn't focus on it.
That's some great advice. I mean, you've done dozens of these. What are some of the things that are typically on somebody's list when they're thinking about replatforming?
A lot of it comes down to there's often integrations with third-party services. Do there's some way I can integrate with those third parties, whether it be for inventory, shipping, those kind of back-end features. There's also often a look at your product data. I mentioned customization before, and a lot of products, can be very simple, but some of them can be very complex in the number of options and choices you have. If you have a shirt that comes in 12 sizes and 14 different colors, that immediately becomes a lot of permutations of that item. And you want to make sure the platform is going to display that well and handle that well. That limitation isn't too bad if you were at that size, but I've seen stores where they have, oh, we want them to design a bracelet. So they pick from 1 to 26 letters for the first letter, and the 1 to 26 letter for the second letter, 1 to 26 letter for the third letter. And so if you actually did the math and come up with the number of permutations that comes up, it can have like millions of permutations. And some of these platforms just are not meant to handle that. There's always workarounds, but it comes down to what's the feature set that the platform's got built into it, and then looking a lot at the apps, third-party services, and integrations that go along with that. So there's all stuff to analyze and really thought about. And like I said, most of the platforms that are out there nowadays, you can do a lot of things. It's just you don't want to make it take hundreds of hours extra work to work around something that's really not meant to do.
Now, I know for Yahoo stores, and you do it for a lot of my private clients, you manage their data feed going to Google Shopping, going to Google Merchant Center, where a lot of e-commerce merchants really see their best ROI. What do people do if they replatform out of Yahoo to a Shopify or to a BigCommerce?
Well, we do. I'll give a couple things. One, a pitch, because we actually can do feeds for BigCommerce and Shopify currently. So we do have some that do stick with us doing that. There are some that go to other services. There are a number of different third-party integrations that work with them. There's more on Shopify than BigCommerce, as Shopify is a very app-centric platform, has a little less built into it. So there are third-party services they will use. I would say the other thing you have to keep track of, especially when you're transferring platforms, when looking at your data feed, there's one piece of data. Most of the data in there you can figure out how to get. The one piece of data that's usually critical is making sure whatever provider you're using for feeds, whether it be us or someone else, make sure that ID, that record ID that's in the Google feed is carried over to your new platform. Because otherwise you will lose that history, it won't connect to the history in your Google Products account. And so that's really, really important to carry over. It's something that we think of when we do the transfers, or if we do their feed service, we can easily tie that in. But I would say whatever service they look at, make sure it can import and use that old data. It's okay for new items if it creates its own new IDs and whatever logic they use, but as much as possible, carrying that over is always good.
Yeah, that's great advice as well. Hey, I don't know if you have this information, but of all the stores that you've migrated to different platforms, what percentage do you think have been able to increase their sales after replatforming?
I don't know that I have specific exact numbers, but it comes down to, I would say honestly, almost all of them.
Wow.
And it comes down to a couple things. Okay, first off, when you transfer, plan on a short dip from the time you move over. There's numerous reasons to do that. You got to make sure you get your SEO redirects in, or that dip is going to be long and painful. But almost all stores I know of have increased afterwards. Now, it comes down to two things. It's not always the platform. One is the platform. Two is, I think, what happens often when you're replatforming, which we try to get people to do, is you rethink your business. You rethink your organization on your site, you rethink your products, not the products you're selling, but how you're going to list them. Can you make them more SEO friendly when you move in, things like this? Can you make the site more usable? That is usually what causes a lot of the increase. It's not always just the platform. But as a rule, that's when they're replatforming, that's when they go through and do rethink all of this stuff. And so long term, I think, I can't say for sure, but virtually all see some kind of bump. But like I said, it's not always the moment I turn it on. It's sometimes you will take a hit for a short-term hit at the beginning while Google figures out you've moved and things like this.
I would think a lot of that too would probably be, you're looking at your competitors and seeing what they're doing well and kind of doing stuff that improves your conversion rate that you could do on your own website. But since you're replatforming, you're taking a broader view of everything.
There are so many things that are usually, it's just like when you do a redesign, you will do similar in a redesign of an existing store, but in a replatform, you're even willing to go deeper. And, I'm going to reorganize the site. I'm going to, And don't do it just to do it, but do it to make it make more sense for the users trying to get to you.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So tell me, before we wrap up, as a lot of great information, what are your store wizards and Don Cole got in the pipeline coming up?
We have a lot coming up right now. We are real excited. We're doing a lot of work with Shopify and BigCommerce. We still do work with Yahoo, and obviously doing a lot of transfers and things like this. But one of the things that we're excited about is over probably the next month here, looking at the date, it's February 27th, probably hopefully the next month here, we're going to launch our search product on Shopify. Shortly after that, we're going to launch on BigCommerce. We touched on feeds, and we're actually working on speccing out a version 2 of our feed service that'll integrate natively with Shopify, BigCommerce, and Yahoo. And then we are obviously doing a lot of design work, a lot of migrations. So we're very busy, which is great. But we're really excited, honestly, about the search and our new feed service coming. Both of them are going to be great, and all tie into all 3 of the platforms we work with: Yahoo, Shopify, BigCommerce. We may eventually expand to others, but those will be sort of our starting launching points.
Well, that's great. A lot of great information on people considering the replatforming. What is we have your website up here. What's the best way to contact you? Is it to go through the website, or?
They can always go through the website. They can email our support@GrowStoreWizard. Someone will answer that. Honestly, if someone has something and they don't know us and they just want to ask me a question, I don't even mind if they reach me direct. Just send to don@GrowStoreWizards.com. On long term, I'll send it to the support because I can't take all emails. But I'm glad to help out, and our team is great. I am very blessed that I have a team to work with that I trust implicitly, and we get it not only from a developer perspective, but a business perspective of the store owner, of what things you need to do and to make your store operate, your business operate well. And I'm very proud of that fact. I mean, like I said, we've been here since 1999. It's crazy, but glad to do it and love what we do.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you again, Don. This has been very enlightening, and I think very helpful for anybody who is considering doing a replatform, especially to the big ones. Where do you see most of the replatforms going?
Honestly, we're seeing a fair amount go to Shopify. That's probably the number 1 right now that we're seeing. But we're actually getting a good number going to BigCommerce as well. They both have their strengths and weaknesses. And so if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Glad to help out and make a decision. They both have their pluses and minuses, and it just comes into finding the best fit. But those are probably the 2 biggest ones that are seeing action right now.
Awesome. Well, this has been, again, fantastic. So thank you very much.
No problem. Glad to help out.
All right. Thanks.